2009 Dodge Ram, 3rd gen Cummins 6.7. Got the 6-speed in it. I'm naming this truck the Pile. Interior is decent. I just got it because my other truck got stolen. Clutch is already out in it. I've had it for 12 days, but luckily it did make it back home from Colorado. So we got our new clutch disc. I went with the South Bend, the single disc, because I'm not going to drive it like it's a Honda Civic. I'll use it actually just to tow. New flywheel. This is all of our hydraulics. Actually came pre-bled, it appears, which was quite surprising. We got shocks for the front end. My boy's taking the filler neck out so we can plumb the auxiliary fuel tank so that when I open the valve on it, it fills through the filler neck into the truck tank. Overall, truck runs good. Like I said, I've dubbed it the Pile. It's got a bunch of small little problems, you know, like this stuff. What else? That window over there, the passenger back window, doesn't work with either switch, but there is a broken wire that I can see plain as day just opening the door. Interior is not in too bad a shape, actually. It's got 228 on it. Yeah, you can see that. So for now, I got my boy, he's plumbing in the auxiliary tank. I'm gonna start yarding apart for the clutch. And I'll bring you guys along for the ride. First things first, we're gonna hook this clutch interlock switch. This little red tab slides that way, and then you can push this tab and unplug it. Clutch safety switch, unplugged. Next, we're gonna get to this rod here. Take this clip out, and then we'll be able to, that'll disconnect the rod from the clutch pedal. Then our work will be under the hood.
Alright, you guys, so I just took this off. I just took this part of the hose and tried removing the clamps, and I did these 3 bolts right here. But my dad had to help me. My dad had to help me with getting the hose off that because he told me to just grab like pliers and put them on there and then twist it. But I couldn't do that, and while he was explaining it to me, he got it loose. And yeah, so now we have to put that hose right there and drill a hole somewhere into here.
Alright, got that clip out right here. So I just use these hose pliers to get it. And I was able to put it up against the one end there, and then just pushed it right out. Our reservoir is still mounted, but the clutch is now disconnected from the slave cylinder. One more thing, the release is all blown out, so I have to get pliers or screwdriver in through the grill to turn this to get the hood open. I can pop it from inside, but then you have to have a tool to open it the rest of the way. Just one more thing that contributes to me nicknaming this truck the Pile.
Drill it?
I'm about to do right now.
Drill a hole into the...
Drill it about right there, okay? Go for it.
Right there?
Yep. Hold on, let me see if I can find this a center punch. Got 2 15mm bolts right there. 15mm nuts, one there, one up there in the corner. Deep well socket, 6-inch extension. Yard those apart, and we can disconnect the reservoir and slave cylinder, whatnot, from the firewall.
Okay, I'm taking the slave bolts out that mount to the transmission. There's 2 of them, one on top and then one on bottom.
What just happened?
I just hit my head so hard. on this big old chunky thing.
Oh, that's an AR bolt. Did somebody sharpen it?
I think so.
All right, keep at it.
Okay.
Gotta get washed up. Go get some lunch. We're at the Miner's Diner for lunch. What'd you order?
Bacon cheeseburger.
It's gonna be delish, huh?
Hopefully, yeah.
I ordered the mixed burrito, add green chili, sour cream, and cheese.
Nice.
Looks good, buddy. Better put some salt on them fries too. I need to try one out, just make sure they're safe. Oh, you're not gonna like those, just leave them all. What'd you do, bud?
I tapped this.
Drilled it first?
Yeah, drilled it and then tapped it for a 1/8 pipe thread.
1/8 pipe thread. Yep. And now you're gonna reinstall it. We're gonna hook it up to the auxiliary, right?
Yep.
Okay. Get after it.
Okay.
All right, quick update. We got that slave cylinder mounted right there. The hose is all run up there. We got the reservoir self-tapered onto the firewall. Now we're ready to start on the transmission work itself. We're going to take out the drive shaft bolts. Looks like a 15 millimeter. Take this cross member off here. Support this with a jack and slide it straight back. Hopefully 6 or 8 inches will be all the room we need to get in there and do our work. All right, took the drive shaft out, put the bolts back in where they came from. Also removed the carrier bearing mount here. Somebody's been here before. This side has a nut on it, and you had to put a wrench on it to hold it. This side is still captive. It's threaded right here. This side is stripped out. So somebody's been here before us. Once again, this truck's only 12 days old to me, so you know, that's had plenty of years for somebody to be here. Anyway, we just moved all this stuff out of the way. Now we're going to start on our bell housing bolts, and we'll start on this cross member here, and we'll get our ATV jack under here to support it before we do this side. Quick update, guys. It's the next day. Not saying I forgot to take the shifter out, but you're going to want to make sure you take the shifter out. Right here, just going to take these little rubber pieces out of your cup holders area. It'll expose the bolts you need to take out 8 millimeter. And then your shift tower bolts that go on top of the trans are E10s, which are these right here. It's like an external Torx bit. E12, I'm sorry, E12. 4 of those, take that out. Got the tranny slid back. You guys are gonna get a better shot of that. That must be their dual mass flywheel, whatever. Now I'm not sure how good this is all showing up on camera. What we do know is this truck would slip under load, and I don't drive it like it's a freaking race car. I just drive it like it's a work truck. But this clutch is literally brand new. Brand new. This pressure plate, this is all what came out of the truck, by the way. This is the new stuff that I haven't even installed yet. I don't know if you guys can see on here, there's still ridges in this pressure plate. This is the slave cylinder that came out of the truck. Appears to be new-ish. I mean, everything's pretty clean on it. So I'm not sure what failed, what was making it slip. Was this just not releasing and letting the pressure plate put full tension on the clutch disc? Is it something with that dual mass setup? Not real sure. We're going to keep going. It's the next day, by the way. Had a little excitement last night. I'm up under the truck working on it. You guys can see this carnage very well. I'm up under the truck working on it. I hear somebody just tear ass through the street down here. Radio super loud, and they turn around, and I'm sitting right there underneath the truck, sitting in there. I hear them come hauling ass back, and then I hear they locked up the tires about right here at the end of my trailer, probably 40 feet away, 50 feet, slid all the way. And this is about the time I hear as they're hitting all this dirt right here. They stopped just short of taking out this mailbox right here, side by side. At that point, I'm climbing out from under the truck. These two girls are driving this brand new side by side. They panic, throw it in reverse, and just floor it. They just pin it to win it. And as I'm crawling out from under the truck, I watch it roll off the side of this. And most of this debris is what was thrown out of that side by side. So then we had pretty much 2 hours of helping them recover and do all this. Anyway, everybody was fine. They were wearing seat belts, but yeah, a little bit of excitement working on clutches. All right, we're laying up under the truck now. This is that dual mast. Now, this part will move just a little bit independent of the flywheel. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to do that or not. It's been a long time since I've been stumped by a clutch. But to get this off, you have to take this cover plate off, loosen up both these bolts and fold it down, and spin this like a freaking automatic, like you're taking torque converter bolts out. Here's a shot of that plate you gotta take off. 10mm bolts. Just loosen them both and just let it fold down. And then this is where you would put a barring tool. This is where you would put your socket, which I don't have the barring tool to bar the engine over. So we're just using old pressure plate bolts and a pry bar to spin it so we can get bolts lined up. Sorry about the wind, guys. It's blowing like 80 miles an hour out here. We got these 7 bolts out. There's one left. We're lined up on it right now. Apparently this thing weighs like 100 pounds. So I'm gonna get over here to the front. We'll take this last bolt out, and I don't know if it's just gonna fall off or if we have to pry it off. But anyway, we're gonna get out of the way. We're working on the last bolt now, and then we should get this off, and it should expose the flex plate. There it is, guys. There's the flex plate. We're gonna yard this off now. This worked out exactly as I thought. As soon as that 8th bolt came out, I just let this thing hit the floor. Let's move it to the tailgate and look at it though, but it looks, from right now, it looks to be brand new. So I'm not real sure what failed. I wonder, let's check it out and look at it a little bit. So in hindsight, guys, I would take those bolts out from the inside, and before you unmount the transmission, and I would pull this whole assembly off with the transmission, just like you would a torque converter on an automatic. Then you don't have to deal with dodging this thing as it falls off the back of the engine if you're doing it on your back. I mean, it's different if you have a lift or a pit bay or something like that, but I still don't understand what failed. It almost looks like a 2-piece flywheel with this, some sort of a dampener in the middle there. The springs are all loose. So I don't know. This is a luck clutch, which apparently is pretty good. We went with South Bend, but we're gonna delete all this dual mass. I'm just going back to a solid flywheel. Less things to fail. Not sure how good this is gonna show up for you guys. Look at all this. Looks like it's all clutch material. I doubt it would be from the old clutch. Almost to me seems like maybe it was from that, I don't even know, little torsion plate or whatever between the flywheel halves, but it is thick and it's caked all over the rear main here. But anyway, just an observation. I'm gonna get all this cleaned up, and we got our flex plate and spacer off, so we'll clean this up a little bit and go ahead with I guess the delete, if you will, and go back to a solid flywheel.
Alright guys, I'm cleaning this off for my dad, and it's really satisfying. I've already got all that off.
Got this new flywheel put on. Holy smokes, is this thing heavy, especially for one dude trying to do it by himself. Anyway, I think these only torqued are like 80, 85. We'll get this buttoned up, go on with the pressure plate, continue going along with it. Sorry about the wind, guys. I just thought it was cool that they included this. Torque specs for the pressure plate, 18 to 20 foot-pounds. Crank bolts, I was off a little bit, 90 to 100. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys that. I thought it was cool they included that with the kit here. All right, we're we're gonna torque these. It says 90 to 100. We're gonna go to 95. That'll give us the most room for error in case our torque wrench has been dropped or is slightly out of calibration. But here's a little trick I always use. I put a tranny bolt through a box end of a wrench with the open end. So when I go to tighten it, it'll hold the flywheel still so I can get my torque on it. All right, did you get all of them, bud?
Yeah.
And what were we going to? 18 foot-pounds?
Yeah.
And how many did you over torque?
All of them.
2 of them. What'd you get them to?
19.
19. So now first time I shift, it's all just gonna grenade, huh?
Probably.
Okay, let's go all the way around. Each bolt, nice and easy, and just make sure that they're all clamped to 18. 18. Once again, sorry about the wind, guys. Battery died. As I was saying, we're going to use a new throwout bearing that came with it. This is the old one. Still in good shape, but I mean, why do all this again over a throwout bearing that craps the bed early? This is your clutch fork. As you install this, the part number should be on the bottom left as you're facing the transmission. It's going to install that way onto the transmission. You can install it upside down. Chances are it'll make a little bit of racket. That's just incorrect to install it that way. So we'll put this new one on. We'll get this thing, start getting it all buttoned up now. Well, I shafted you guys. The reinstall was so fast and smooth. It's all done now. It's only been like an hour. But anyway, we put one bolt in here at the 3 o'clock, one bolt over there at the the 3 and 9 o'clock positions on the bell housing, because I couldn't get it to go all the way up against. I reinstalled the shifter, put it in gear. I could not spin this, so I knew it was already starting to spline. So we put them bolts in at the 3 and 9 o'clock. I literally tightened them up as tight as I could by hand, and then I just shook the back of the tranny and just repeated, and it walked itself right in. And after that, everything was very straightforward. Definitely I would recommend grinding these, hit them with a flap disc, all the rust and stuff, because we had to pry and beat this out, but it literally slipped right back in after I cleaned it up just a little bit. But that's pretty much it, guys. We're going to take it off the jack stands now, do our last little bit of cleanup, and we'll see how it goes.
Like the wind, because you can clean. I know. Crazy, what do you have there? Snack? Snack. What's your snack? Okay, he said no. Oh, got my shirt.
So he's
Actually, he should be calm now. I just don't want one
being,
near my face.
he's not being aggressive. You just, yeah, if you get bit, just don't let it be your face.
Just don't
Yep.
let me in your face. It's very nice then.
He is a fat boy there. Well, this wasn't his plan for today. He wasn't planning on cuddling anybody.
His plan was also simple though.
Yeah, he was fun for an hour.
Tree.
On the ground beneath the tree.
He was just vibing.
Look at this guy though. So cool.
That's a nice little feller there.
He is.
I'm not sure.
Too bad he doesn't want to be a house pet.
You know, I'd make him one.
Look how happy he
He'd get
is.
used to it eventually.
Yeah, but that's why you can't make him a house pet. Look how happy he is out here.
I know.
Nice and warm.
I mean, you can buy them at the reptile store.
I don't think you can buy that snake at the store.
I bet you